if you are a private practice owner who keeps telling yourself, I just need more marketing, but when you look at your schedule, it still looks very patchy, this episode is going to be for you, because it took me a long time to realize this, but marketing doesn't give you new patients. Conversions actually are the thing that give you the new patients. So today, what I want to do is I'm going to show you how to track your lead conversion percentages, why you probably don't have a lead problem. Also, the 4 levers to actually pull to improve that: availability, speed, personalization, and volume. And so you can turn your existing lead flow into a full booked schedule. So stick around. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome to episode number 3 of the Private Practice Scorecard series. Forgive me, I'm going to be looking down at my notes as I kind of follow along. Excited to be here. And I've also got my Alani Dream Float. For those of you that are my Alani people, you know what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to talk about conversions, conversion percentages. Pretty cool episode, because it's probably something that gets underlooked most of the time. We have a tendency to just focus on marketing. Like, hey, more new patients is going to solve all of our problems, right? If we had a bunch of new patients, we'd be rich and we'd be free. Yeah, I get that. It's very common to assume that, but perhaps marketing won't solve your problems. Perhaps it's actually a lack of a sales mechanism to convert the leads that you already have to a booked appointment. And so what we end up doing is we end up thinking, hey, I need more leads. Marketing is going to give me more leads, right? Marketing, let's grow the lead list. Let's just keep building awareness. But we don't have a strong ability. We don't have a system in place. We don't have the training in place. We don't have the tools in place. And we're just not very good at actually converting that list into people that actually show up, get our service, and pay us. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And so most owners typically assume that marketing is the problem. But the truth is that you already have a really big lead list already. Unless it's day one, right? Even if it's day one, you already have a lead list, right? And so let's define what a lead is. A lead is going to be the person, it's going to be a human being that you have some type of contact information on. You have their phone number, their email, or their social media profile handles. All right. And the truth is that you probably already have a big lead list, right? You have a really big list of past patients in your EMR. You have a lot of current patients that are in your practice. You have all of your friends, all of your family members. You have go to your email list and just start scrolling through all of your past emails. These are all people who you could be reaching out to convert into a new patient. And so you already have a really big list. And likely, if you've been in business for any length of time, 6 to 12 months or so, there's no shortage of people who need your service. And so you probably have some type of organic flow of patients, leads coming to your business. They call, they stop by, they opt in on Google or whatever. But without a strong converting mechanism, then you're going to feel like you need more leads when really you're just not really good at converting the leads that you already have yet. And so that's the problem, right? When you don't track this metric well, first of all, it's hard to diagnose. Or if you don't know how to do it, it's hard to be aware that you have options, okay? And so if you go back to the first episode, we talked about marketing versus sales. Marketing and sales are two different things. Conversions equal sales. Okay. Marketing creates the interest. Marketing gets people to raise their hand. They opt in. They call you. You get a fax, right? Conversion is what actually turns that person into a booked initial evaluation. All right. So there's this old argument this lifelong argument that will be forever. It's the marketing team arguing with the sales team. All right. And so usually what happens is the sales team will go to the marketing team and say, hey, we're running short on new patients. We need you to pick it up. We need you to pick up the new patients. Come on. We need you to get better at marketing. These leads are not good. Right. And the marketing team's looking at the sales team and is like, what are you talking about? I've sent you a bunch of leads. You're just not very good at converting. And so it's like, there's this old argument that is like, it's never going to go away. But I will tell you this, based on my experience, blaming your marketing is usually, hopefully this doesn't sting too bad, is usually the first thing that people say whenever they're not very good at sales. All right, I'm going to say that one more time. Blaming your marketing is the first thing that people say, business owners will say, whenever they're not very good at sales. All right. So before you go and blame your marketing director, make sure that you've got a really strong sales process. Because here's the thing, if we just go spend a bunch of money on marketing and we pull more leads in and you don't convert them, well, guess what? You're wasting money anyway. All right. All right. So let's define the metric. The metric that we're going to measure is called lead conversion percentages, or lead conversion percentage. All right. Which measures of the leads that you actually communicate with, you have some type of two-way conversation with, what percentage of them actually schedule as a new patient. All right, I'm going to say that one more time. Of the leads, remember, a lead is a human being that you have the ability to communicate with in some way, either phone, DM, text, email. Of the leads, of the number of leads that you actually communicated with, had a two-way communication, meaning they responded to you, what percentage of them ended up on your schedule as a new patient? All right. And so if you can imagine, the spreadsheet, right? We're going to go back to spreadsheets because that's where all of our data lives. It's really it's going to be four main columns. Okay. Column A is going to be the date, right? Because you want to track this by date. Usually, I recommend tracking this at least weekly. I think anything beyond a week is probably a little bit too much time. A day is also relevant, could be useful too if you're getting a respectable amount of leads, right? Like if you're only getting like 2 or 3 leads that you're communicating with a day, might not be useful. But if you're getting 10, 15, 20 a day, probably useful, okay? But for most of us, a weekly cadence of measuring this is going to be probably where you want to land. So column A is going to be week, like consider like the week date range. Week 1 with the date range, week 2 with the date range, week 3 with the date range, okay? Column B is going to be the number of active conversations that you had with leads for that week, okay? Active conversations could be in person, could be phone, email, DM, text, probably the best way, the only ways that I can come up with, okay? And the point here is that we want to really make sure that we're only tracking the number of people that we actually communicate with. So they pick up the phone, they respond to an email, or they respond to a text or a DM, okay? Week by week, okay? The next column C, is going to be the number of new initial evaluations scheduled from those conversations, even if the eval date is in the future, okay? But you actually performed a schedule function. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? So we're not looking at just the evals that you scheduled for this week. Any eval that's scheduled anytime on your calendar ever between now and forever in the future, all right? So the number of those that you actually completed for the week. All right. And then lastly, column D is going to be your lead conversion percentage. So you're just going to take column C divided by column B. All right. And that should give you a percentage. Okay. So as an example, let's say you had 10 active conversations with leads this week. All right. And then let's say you scheduled 2 initial evaluations this week. Okay. So 10 would go in column B, 2 would go in column C. Column D would be 2 divided by 10, which would give you a conversion rate of 20%. All right. And so you can track that week by week. All right. So a few things to consider here. All right. Lead quality does matter. There's different types of leads that you can have, right? So you can have warm leads. Warm leads are usually easier to convert. Okay. So these are going to be friends, family members, people that were actually referred to you by trusted resources like referral partners or friends or family members, right? Could even be your past patient list. That's a very warm lead, right? They already know you. There's already trust being built there. Those leads typically will convert at a higher percentage because the trust factor is already there. There's lower levels of skepticism. They already know you. They already like you. They already trust you. And so we want to see now, this is going to depend a lot on like what market you're in, there's going to be a lot of things, your offer, a lot of things kind of can determine what a good conversion rate is. But in general, we want to see that warm lead population converting at about an 80 to 90% rate. Okay. So like if I call a friend or family member, or if somebody's referred to me and they have a problem and they trust me, it should be kind of a layup, right? Like I should be able to walk them to the schedule and get them to show up. The other option is the other category could be a cold lead. These are going to be leads that come to you more randomly, more organically. So this could be coming in from ads, coming in from organic Google. Could be just random walk-ins. They saw your sign. They're like, hey, let me walk in. Technically, these are still warm, but they're not nearly as warm as somebody that's referred from a trusted source, right? People who have not had any type of contact with your business in the past. These people are going to be generally harder to convert because they don't trust you. They don't know you. They don't trust you yet, right? So we have to build relationship with them. It's a little bit of a slower process. There's a few more steps in the trust building process with a cold lead. Okay, so what's the point of that? The point is that if you're going to measure lead conversion percentages, it may be useful for you to segment the type of lead that you're converting, just so you can have a better picture at the performance of your front desk or whoever's doing the conversions at some point, right? If you're not doing this at all in the beginning, it's just like get the global number, because the percentage of warm to cold leads is probably not going to change much unless you massively change your marketing strategy. But in the future, if you want to be more calculated, you can just start qualifying the type of lead and measuring your conversion percentages per type of lead, okay? Because a cold lead might only convert at, let's say, 20 to 30%, right? And let's say you have, 90% of your leads are cold. Well, it's hard to expect your salesperson or your front desk person to convert at a 90% rate, because it's like, hey, you got to train them up a little bit better. They got to be really good at sales in order to convert that cold traffic like that. But that's kind of some general frameworks for you to consider. All right. And so management, how are you gonna manage it? The same way you manage everything, goofy. Okay. So you're gonna track that conversion rate percentage weekly. Okay. So first of all, you can take this video, you can use it as a training video for your front desk or whoever's going to do this for you. You say, hey, watch this. I want you to create a spreadsheet, right? Here's the 4 columns. All right. You know that marketing spreadsheet that we're using to track our leads and our outbound? Let's make another tab. Let's call it lead conversion percentages. And I want you to create the 4 columns. right? So you just start tracking and computing the conversion percentage every single week. Just tracking it and having it reported to you weekly will improve the metric, because what gets measured improves, and what gets measured and reported improves exponentially. Okay. So you want to put it on a simple scorecard and review this metric with your team during your weekly marketing and sales meeting. Okay. And it may not be weekly, maybe monthly. I recommend weekly to start, at least, but just like, especially if marketing is a big priority for you. If marketing and sales is like, we've got to figure out how to drive new business, then I want a weekly standing meeting every week focusing on finding ways to get an edge on the marketing and sales department. All right. So you can have a simple agenda where you're going to review this metric every week, and you're going to start asking some questions like, are we having enough conversions? Are we doing that? The answer might be yes. My answer might be no. Are we converting at a healthy rate? If the answer is yes, great, we celebrate. If the answer is no, okay, no problem. What can we do to overcome that, right? Let's solve this problem together, team. And by the way, I don't have all the answers all the time. That's going to depend on a lot on your team and your situation and your unique practice. But I can give you some general frameworks that you can use to help drive that number up, okay? If we can do that well, if we can start tracking it well, meeting with our team well, and learning how to solve the low conversion rate problem well, what will end up happening is that you'll start to see that number tick up. And your evals will schedule more frequently, meaning you'll get more on the calendar, and they'll schedule quicker, and as a byproduct, the arrival rate of those evals will improve, meaning the percentage of them that actually show up will actually improve. That's another episode for next week. But all good things, which will give you higher pipeline velocity, meaning leads will move through your pipeline and onto your schedule quicker, more effectively, and they will stick better because you have a process that is driven and you're performing around that process, because your team's going to get better, which will ultimately allow you to help more people, which is great, right? Help more people. Okay, so everybody wins, right? Like your patients get better. They get on the schedule sooner. They get services from you. You get better as a clinician because you learn how to sell and enroll and lead and organize your team. Your front desk gets better. They learn how to empower their patients better and lead and enroll patients into plans of care. You make more money. The community benefits. Everyone benefits. And more importantly, maybe not more importantly, but your schedule will stay more predictably full, and you won't be worried so much about, oh my gosh, what if I don't get another referral this week, right? Because you know how to convert, you know how to work a lead list and get them on the schedule. Okay, so I'm going to give you 4 kind of tips. How do we make this better, right? How do we actually drive this metric up? Okay, how do we drive this metric up? How do we drive this up? Okay, so this is kind of your playbook for driving conversions up. Okay. If you see conversions low, or if you say, hey man, there's an actual gap between where we are, where we're performing and where we could be performing, and that gap is worth actually putting energy behind. Here's a little bit of a playbook that you can use to drive that up. Okay. So lever number 1, there's going to be four levers. Lever number 1 is going to be availability. Okay, some of these you can improve and you can make a difference immediately. Some of them you can't. Okay, availability, meaning your availability, right? Your availability to actually put patients on your schedule, or your evaluating team, their availability to actually get patients on the schedule. So a kind of a polar side of this, like an extreme version of this, would be if you're only accepting new patients on Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. for 30 minutes, then your conversions are going to suffer big time because you're not allowing your leads to schedule at a convenient time because they don't care about your availability. They care about their availability. And so at some level, we want to try to responsibly and realistically find ways to be available when it's convenient for our customers so that they are more likely to schedule with us. Okay. And so if you're a solo provider, that's going to mean you need to extend your hours, right? You need to extend your hours. You need to come in a little earlier, stay a little later, accept evals any time of the day. You may even be willing to do like every other Saturday or even work on Saturdays for a little while to not as a long-term solution, but as a short-term strategy to maximize your availability such that you can drive conversions and new patients up until you can start hiring more clinicians, and then you can start winding your schedule back down. Okay. So you want to increase the number of convenient scheduled slots that are on your calendar. And it's because the easier that you are to schedule with, the higher your conversion rates are going to be. Okay. So if you have multiple providers, let's say you have 2 or 3 clinicians, it would be wise for you to maybe stagger their hours such that you are having one person maybe come in maybe an hour or 2 early, right? And then the other person maybe coming in an hour or 2 later. That way you're covering those early morning shifts and those late evening shifts for extended hours of availability. You're going to be more convenient. Also, could still maybe alternate one Saturday a month in the clinic for people who are hard to get in for an eval. Okay. Those are some examples. So increasing your availability will improve your conversion rate. Number 2 is speed to lead. All right. You want to contact leads fast, especially if they opt into something, right? Like if a referral comes in over the counter, let's say you get a fax or an email and Dr. Smith sends you over a referral. You want to contact that lead instantly. And when I say instantly, I mean, you want to have a sense of urgency. You don't need to be rushed or frantic about it, but I need you to move quickly. Like that moves to the top of the priority list very quickly. Ideally, if we can contact that person within the first 3 to 5 minutes of receiving the referral, even better, because the intent, the buying intent, the decision-making intent of that lead, of that person is going to be highest the closer they are to their first level of commitment, right? So their first level of commitment was they opted in, or they made some type of commitment. They went to the doctor and requested a referral, or they walked into your place, right? They made that first level commitment. We want to try to capture the momentum of that commitment as quickly as possible, because their urgency and their conviction around and their intent will decay with time. Why? The same reason why you do that, right? Because life happens and other urgent things happen and you forget about it. Oh, it starts feeling better, right? All of the things, it's especially in the world that we live in today, where it's so easy to become distracted. We want to try to we have to compete with the world, right? Because Coca-Cola and Starbucks and TikTok and every other company in the world is competing for attention. And if you are not using speed as a mechanism to compete with that, then you're going to lose, right? So a simple policy that you can have with your front desk is all new referrals or new leads are called within 15 minutes during business hours. All right. All new leads or referrals are called within 15 minutes during business hours. So this is important for you guys to take away. If you guys are listening to this, write this down, because the front desk, I keep saying the front desk because most of us use our front desk as that sales mechanism. It could be you, it could be a virtual assistant, it could be a call center. But the point is that in order to get an ROI, a return on investment at that front desk role, one of the best contributions that they can make for your company is their ability to keep the schedule consistently full and convert leads. That's one of the biggest revenue drivers in the company. And what ends up happening is that Medicare and Medicaid and Blue Cross and United, they put a bunch of administratively heavy non-revenue generating activity on the practice, and we typically give that to the front desk. And that non-revenue driving activity becomes a distraction, and our sales team, our sales mechanism begins to spend a majority of their time on things that don't actually drive the business forward and instead actually just help maintain the business. And so this is why it is really important to have strong systems at the front desk and the appropriate staffing levels such that you can actually spend as much time as possible focusing on this conversion rate and speed to lead at the front desk. This is why I'm a big proponent of virtual assistants. Virtual assistants are affordable, they're reliable, they're dependable, and they can offload your front desk so that you can have a strong sales mechanism at the front desk. And it's such an easy way for you to separate yourself in the community because nobody's doing that. Nobody's focusing on offloading the front desk to improve sales. Nobody's doing that, especially the hospital systems. And so it's just such an easy way to separate yourself. So consider a virtual assistant to offload your front desk. Okay, that's number 2. So first was availability. Second was speed. The third one is personalization. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. Personalization. So most of the time when leads opt in, you're going to call them, you're going to email them, you're going to text them, right? You're going to use language to communicate with them through various channels. And we have to leave voicemails. We have to send emails, right? We have to leave reminders. And the mistake that we make is that we are very generic with the language that we use during these reminders and during these messages that we send, okay? And it could be something like, hey, Adam, this is, hey, John, this is Adam at Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. Please give me a call back at your early convenience. It's like, who's Adam? Who's Southern Physical Therapy Clinic? Like, why should I call you? I don't even know who you are, right? In my mind as the prospect, I'm not able to reference any familiarity. Sorry if I said that wrong. Anything familiar that helps me connect the dots. The only way to help me connect the dots with, I got a message from this person and there's a reason why I should call them back, is to have high levels of personalization so that they can say, oh yeah, I know exactly what they're talking about. This person actually understands me well. I should call them back. All right. So we want to use specifics. Obviously, when you do this within HIPAA limits, so make sure that if you have a compliance officer or if you have any questions, if you need compliance work, let me know. I've got people in my network, but we want to use HIPAA limits. And I'm not a HIPAA person, so hopefully don't say Adam told me to do this and I got sued. I'm going to give you the extreme version, and then it's up to you to be responsible in doing this within HIPAA limits. Okay. But we want to use like their name, their referrer, how did you get the referral, right? The body area or the condition or something related to their diagnosis and why you're calling. All right. So an example could be, hey, John, this is Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. We just received a referral from Dr. Smith about your right knee. I'm calling to see how we can help and get you scheduled. Please give me a call back at blah, 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 right? Or, hey, John, this is Adam at Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. I'm calling. I just saw you opted into our form on the website, looking for help with your right knee. I'm calling to see what we can do to possibly help and maybe get you scheduled. Please give me a call back at your convenience. I will send you over an email and text shortly. Something like that. Very specific. Okay. And ideally, if you call them, email them, text them, you're going to get a response. Either they're going to call you back, they're going to email you back, or they're going to text you back. They're going to use their preferred channel of communication. And so what we want to do is stay within that channel of communication that's personalized for them, right? So if somebody responds back via text, say, hey, Adam, got your message the other day. I'm available, blank, blank. Don't pick up the phone and call them. Don't pick up the phone and don't send them an email. Use the text, and you continue to stay personalized with that level of communication. All right. So that is a lot of that is obvious, but it's not emphasized a lot. And we tend to be generic because, especially at the front desk, you get a bunch of leads, you're making a bunch of calls, and we forget to have a level of depth of personalization and intimate touch with our patients, especially with our leads. And so another reason why that requires cognitive focus and bandwidth so that you can really connect with those people that you're reaching out to, which is why you don't want to get your front desk too busy. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 1 was availability. 2 was speed. 3 was personalization. Number 4 is volume. Volume and cadence. Okay. So the more quality touches that you make with leads, especially within the first 7 to 30 days, the more conversions you're going to get. Okay. It's just like a direct correlation. More is more. Okay. You reach out to them more, you're more likely to convert more. All right. So an example cadence, this is the cadence that we use in my practice. So for days 1 through 7, the first week, we call them twice per day, once before lunch, once after lunch. And we always follow up with a voicemail and a text. So they're getting 2 phone calls, 2 voicemails, 2 texts every day for the first 7 days. Okay. Seems like a lot, right? But remember, it's easy to get distracted, right? And I always coach my team that we're trying to be pleasantly persistent. We're not trying to be spammy. We're there to help, but we're there to follow the process and find ways to help. Okay. Weeks 2 to 3, this is when that leads kind of starts to cool off. We back off and we do 3 touches per week. The last week 4, we do 1 to 2 touches for that last week. And after 30 days, if there's no response or if they opt out and we don't get them scheduled, we put them on a 90-day nurture list where we'll reach out to them and try to reactivate them every 90 days. And that's our process. And so volume is key, right? So having a specific cadence that is designed is important. What I see, the mistake that practice owners make is either, number 1, they don't have a designed cadence or volume. That's number 1. Or, and so like, as a result, they just call whenever they have time, right? And so they lose speed, they lose volume, they lose a lot of things. Okay. The second issue is they don't call enough, right? They might call once or twice the first week, and it's like, man, you got to be committed to getting them on the schedule. All right. This is just a sales process. Okay. Okay. So those were the 4 main levers that you can use: availability, speed, personalization, and volume. Speed, personalization, and volume. Those are the mechanisms in which you can drive response rates up, meaning They're going to answer. They're more likely to answer the phone. They're more likely to respond to a text if you use speed, personalization, and volume. Okay. Availability is the mechanism. The response is step one. The next step is the actual conversion. Now I'm talking to them. Now I have to get them on the schedule. This is where availability will help the actual conversion. Okay. The next thing I want to share with you is another tool that you need to have in your arsenal to ensure that we're driving that conversion as well. Okay. So if you do those things, they will answer. And so this is where it's really important for you and your team to have a sales script at the front desk. Sales script at the front desk. You know, the mistake, how many times have you gone to a physician's office or a chiropractor or whatever, and it's just like this stale transactional environment. It's very medical, it's very sterile, and it makes you feel like they don't understand me, right? They don't understand me, and everybody's just kind of checking their boxes. Don't do that, right? Have a specific sales script that you will use at the front desk. So we want this to be, especially the new leads, we want this to be a transformational call and not a transactional call. So don't go into, hey, give me your name, your phone number, your ID so I can get you on the schedule. That's transactional. Give me this stuff. Give me this stuff so I can get what I need from you. Right? Follow my rules so that you're not inconvenient for me. Don't do that. Don't fall into that trap. Instead, what we want to do is have a very brief discovery first with this lead to help them feel heard and to qualify them for our service. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time. There's going to be, on that initial intake process, there's going to be a time where you have to collect name, phone number, email, diagnosis, all that stuff, insurance card. But before you get into that, just take the first 5 minutes and schedule a brief discovery to help your lead feel heard and to qualify them for your service. And you can do that with 4 simple questions. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can use this as a model, because I'm going to go through all of them. And you can modify the language based on the type of discovery you want to have. But essentially, it's going to follow a simple sales process. Okay. Question number 1. Some version of this. It's like ring, ring. Hello. Hi, Adam. This is Adam with Southern Physical Therapy Clinic. I'm calling on behalf of Dr. Smith. I got a referral yesterday for your right knee. I'm calling to see if we can help. How are you today? I'm doing good. Great. I just have a few quick questions just to see if it's something that we can help. Do you have a minute? Yes, I have a few minutes. Great. Question number 1. What specific problem are you dealing with right now? Just so I'm clear, what specific problem are you dealing with right now, Adam? All right. There's a few keywords there, right? What specific, the word specific, and problem, right? I use the word specific because, hey, what's going on? Or like, hey, tell me what's going on now. Or tell me why we're here today. It's very easy, especially when you're kind of catching them off guard. They get on tangents. We've all had those patients where they get on tangents, right? And they get distracted. Well, the other day I was at a ball game with my sister and right? And we end up spending 30 minutes on a call. It's like, hey, let's bring this back to what's the specific reason why we're on this call today? What's the specific problem that Dr. Smith wanted you to get taken looking at, right? Something like that, right? Specific. Use the word specific. Problem. Why do we use the word problem? Well, we are in the business of solving a problem for them. We want to solve a problem for them. If they don't have a problem, we can't solve it. If they don't have a problem, we can't help them. And so any sales book you read is going to tell you, you want to have a discovery around the problem so that they can clarify the problem. You can see that if you can help, and they can feel the pain of having that problem, which will elicit some type of decision, whether that's with you or not. Okay, so we're discovering the problem. What specific problem are you dealing with right now, Adam? And then they're going to go through it. Great. Thank you. Just for clarity, here's question number 2. How is that problem impacting you right now? Some modifications could be, but depend on the answer that they give you. How is that problem impacting your life right now? How is that problem impacting your work right now? Okay, well, how is that problem impacting your family right now? Right? They may take you to a direction, right? And so you want them to reflect on their problem, but more importantly, reflect on the impact that problem is having on them and the things that they care about. That problem is getting in the way of something really important, and we want to make sure we clarify that so that we can enroll them into actually solving it. Okay? How is that problem impacting your life right now? Hey, thank you so much for sharing that. That makes a lot of sense. Question number 3. How long has this been going on? Okay. So not only is there a depth to the impact, but there's been a timeline, there's been a duration of time that has really caused them to deal with this for longer than they want. Okay. How long has that been going on? And then number 4, last question is, what have you tried so far? And has any of that really solved the problem? Right? And the reason why we ask that question is because we're trying to help them realize that their current strategy of solving the problem is not working. Right? So they may say something like, yeah, I've taken some pills, I've taken some injections, I've tried XYZ over-the-counter treatment, and none of that has really helped. Or, not still in pain, right? And so you get to say, that tees you up to say something like, great, what I'm hearing, Dr. Adam, is here's the problem, here's the impact, and it's been going on for 3 years, and you really recognize that your current strategy isn't quite working, and then it's time for maybe some type of change. Is that correct? That's correct. Great. Let's get you on the schedule with Dr. Smith and see if we can help you out today. All right. Quick enrollment. Okay. And so you're going to use the answers to their questions to reflect the problem back onto them, to gently highlight that their current approach isn't fixing the problem, and then invite them to schedule an initial evaluation with you. Something like, would you be open to us taking a look to see if we could help you? Would it make sense for us to get you on the calendar to see if we can help? Right? That's the discovery process. So you can use those 4 questions as a brief discovery. All right. So training the team. All right. We're going to wrap this up soon. All right. You've got the blueprint. If you do those things, if you use the 4 pillars or the 4 main levers, plus you're going to measure the statistic, right? You're going to have a meeting and have the statistic reported to you. You're going to leverage the 4 levers to create policy, procedure, and training around improving the statistic. And you're going to embed a sales and enrollment discovery script for all of your leads. Okay. And so you want to give your team the script. Write the script. You can have them watch this video, or you can make your own video. Okay. You can role play the objections with them, role play the objections and curveballs. And maybe even during the sales and marketing meeting, it's just a quick question of, what are some of the common objections you're getting right now? Well, how can we say this? Can we say it like this? How do we help them discover that, right? You review those conversion percentages weekly and coach around the real calls that you're having. what's working and what's not working. Double down on what's working, make some type of shift or pivot to address the things that are not. And so the ultimate goal is that you have no lead leaks, right? If there's a lead on your list, or if there's a lead that opts in, they end up on your schedule at some point, right? And so if you do that, we ultimately get to win fuller, more predictable schedules from the leads that you already have, less pressure on you and your team to constantly do more marketing, easier revenue and caseload projections, right? You can project your caseload. You could say, hey, I know if I have this many leads, I have an idea of how many evals that I can get from those leads. And you can start projecting that. And therefore you can confidently start to hire your team, or grow your team, because you trust the conversion engine is working and it's giving you predictable results. All right. So that, my friends, is how you drive conversion rates up. All right. So I hope that was valuable to you. That is episode number 3. We have several more coming. And so if you found this valuable, listen, I'm on a mission to help private practice owners win. I am so passionate about entrepreneurs. I want to help you guys win. I want to help you guys feel empowered, build the systems, make a bigger impact, compete with the declining reimbursements, fight off the hospital systems that are trying to buy up your practices. I believe in what you do, and I want to help you. I want to come alongside of you. And I'm trying to give the most valuable information that I possibly can in the most tangible way possible. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or my team. You can contact me anytime. You can find me all over Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can check out the Facebook page of the Private Practice Owners Club. And if you liked this video, hit the subscribe button, share this with people in your network who might benefit from it. Also, review it with your team. Don't make the mistake that most people do, and they've watched this video and they never take action, because action will create the outcomes. And I want to try to inspire you to take that action. My name's Adam, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.